Okay, we
Rich,
ready to
wanna
get
kick us
going?
off? Yeah, you keeping these up here full
No,
time?
no,
Or
no,
you
don't. Leave that there.
I
The other
wasn't sure
ones
if you
will
were,
drop
if you
down
remembered if you're
when
going
it's
to prop
ready.
them up or something.
Okay, welcome everybody. We're here on our 7th podcast of the American Craftsman podcast.
Good memory.
And we have a guest today, and I'll introduce him in a second. But just to remind everybody, the sponsors out there, these are the sizes. Don't forget, I'm still waiting. I haven't gotten anything yet, but I'm counting on you. So now we have we have one of our first guest here, and how do you go? Do you go by Sir John or
Sir
or
John
Lord
is
John?
good. I like
Lord Peters?
Sir or Lord.
Lord Peters.
Professor.
Mr. Peters here, John Peters, is a content creator. That's what they call you.
Sound like you're going to say contact tracer.
I almost said that. He's an outdoorsman. Story has it that he once killed a wild mountain lion with his bare hands.
It's true.
He's also a cyclist, an artist, a landscaper. Is that
I
called
love landscaping. I like.
and a woodworker.
Yeah.
So let's hear it for our first guest of the podcast, John Peters.
Yeah, welcome, John.
Thank
I
you
had to
so
figure
much
out how
to
to
be
put
here.
like a applause sound effect in.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah, it's great to be here, guys.
All right.
Oh, yeah, thanks for
I was
coming.
just here a couple of days ago doing the shop tour. It was a lot of fun, and it's great to be part of the podcast.
Yeah, we're happy to have you.
We'll see by the time you get done with all these questions we got here.
All right.
So you got to introduce the beer of the week.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I've got the beer of the week here, and it's going to take me a minute to get it out of the bag
That's all right.
because it's a surprise.
Yeah, we asked John what he'd like to take part in, and he jumped at the beer of the week
Yeah.
for sure.
I picked this because it's just a mainstay.
Yeah.
Lagunitas IPA. I usually will pick anywhere between a half a dozen IPAs. Sometimes I'll go with the local breweries around here, but this is just it's just a mainstay. I think everybody would like it, maybe even Rich. And so
He's a tough,
Yeah, I'm a tough
nut to crack.
I was gonna go with Bud Light.
No, that's right.
Then you have the other three annoyed.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So I figured this is an easy beer. I enjoy it,
Yeah, I like
And-
Lagunitas.
and so there you go. Keeping it simple.
All right.
Cool.
Nice bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the short bottles.
Does it have a nice logo on it for a T-shirt?
It does.
Yeah, they have that dog on there.
I actually really like this
Yeah, I
logo.
like
it's
that.
simple.
Yeah,
You know, it's an IPA. It says it right there in big letters.
has that kind of parchment look on the label.
Yeah,
Yep.
I like that.
Petaluma. Where is that in California?
Yeah, that's Northern California. It's north of San Francisco.
Oh, wow.
It's Marin County.
You want to help
Yeah.
us out there?
It's real-
You
real nice.
Open up your own beer.
Wow.
He just left that right in front of you.
I need to send you to charm school.
No, I'm good. Mine's open. Did you guys bring a bottle opener?
Oops, sorry. Yeah.
Cheers.
What are you doing? Cheers for? Hey, you gotta wait for John to open up his beer.
Oh, you can't take me anyway. Well, that's
Got
good.
no manners.
It's a good beer, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Even has the phonetic pronunciation down there.
Cheers.
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 Great to be here.
Yeah, welcome. You know, Petaluma is also the home of Mesa Boogie amplifiers.
That is good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, not that bitter for an IPA.
No,
Yeah.
no, I like that. And a local brewery that I like here is Carton. I like Carton
Yeah.
beer, and they have one I think called the Hook, which is a little hazy, and that's nice. But it comes in a can. You kind of want a glass when you're drinking beer out of it, especially a good beer, in my view.
I haven't had that one yet.
It's pricey, I think. So
Yeah.
that's the thing, right? This 6-pack is right around $11. So you're going to get a 6-pack of 12-ounce beers for $11. Or you're going to get 4 16-ounce beers for close to $15 or $16. So for me, it's often just a simple
Math.
simple
Yeah,
math.
it's an economical.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we
they got a dog on the cover.
we had that one from Jug Handle. They're pretty good too. They're in Tinton Falls.
Oh, I have to check it out.
Yeah,
Have they been there long?
I think it's been maybe 5 years.
Really?
Yeah, maybe not quite, but they have. We were just talking about them the other day. They have like maybe 20 beers.
Tinton Falls. I've never been there, and so they're bottling it now or putting it in
They
cans.
have the can. Yeah, like 4-pack cans, like most of the guys.
And you have to go there, or can you find it in any of the
Yeah, no, they
distributors?
have it in the liquor store.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah,
There's so many good local breweries now. It just kind of
Yeah.
makes, and that makes drinking beer a little bit more fun. It's
It
like a
does.
little bit more of an adventure. It's funny. I was talking to a friend the other day. Came out to cook some things on the grill, and he was telling me how he's gotten into wine. And I said, I don't have any desire to get into wine at this moment. And then he went on about certain wines remind him of places that he's gone on vacations or for work. And then I said, well, that makes sense to me now, because that's kind of like going back to where you went by having a glass of wine. So it's like a little celebration, and it's similar to like going for a walk in the woods if you know what trees you're looking at.
Yeah.
It's like knowing a little bit of something makes
Hearing a
life more
song
interesting. Yeah,
brings you
absolutely.
back to that time and place.
yeah.
100%.
I like wine, but I just prefer the flavor of beer. Like I like the way wine tastes. I've had a lot of different wines. I've learned a lot about wine working in restaurants. But I always go back to beer. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I'm more of a
prefer
beer
it.
guy.
The
Schmitz.
delivery system too is, the big thick bottle or the frosty glass.
Yeah, and you can get one bottle
Yeah.
of beer. I'm not going to drink a whole bottle of wine.
And you're kind of committed when you open that bottle of wine.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. So, John, why don't you tell us a little bit how you got into woodworking, since, that's kind of what we do here.
Sure. I've been woodworking since I was 17. I was a horrible high school student, and I went into something called distributive education. And there were two forms of distributive education. The class that I was in was supposed to study retail. The class that my friend was in was supposed to study things like mechanics, woodworking, things like that. So I got a job in a ski shop. My friend Sean got a job at a place called The Woodworker. We were talking. He hated his job. I hated my job. And we convinced our teachers to let us split, or switch, I mean. And so I went and met my boss, Bob, at The Woodworker, or my soon-to-be boss. First thing he did was look at my hands. And then he said, okay, see how you do. And I had a natural aptitude for it. And I worked with him for years, and I kind of would leave working with him for a few months and maybe do construction. And I've been doing work with my hands like that ever since. I mean, that's a long time ago. So there's a lot of different things that happen in between.
Yeah.
But everything I do is based off the vocabulary of being able to build something. So whether that's art, whether that's furniture, whether that's opening a business and having to remodel the storefront, all comes down to that first decision to work for somebody and learn a trade.
It's amazing how one small detail can shape the course of somebody's life.
Yeah.
This is going back to high school,
Yeah.
and it's a twisty, crooked road to get to where you are now, but it really is, foundational to where you are.
I think there's a black and white thing about learning a trade, whether that's cabinet building or electrical work or plumbing. It's something that's sort of concrete that you can always count on.
Yeah.
And you can always pull from it. I also worked as an ice cream scooper in a ice cream shop, and I don't really depend on those skills that much these days.
Yeah.
Doesn't come up.
It doesn't come sometimes.
Yeah.
But so if you have that inclination, I think that you have to be prepared to work and be uncomfortable, and bring a good mood to work, and contribute. Because if you're not contributing at a business that needs to make money, then they don't need you.
Yeah.
And so I learned that very early. My boss was not easy, and I think that was a great thing. And I'm friends with him to this day.
Well, that says a lot.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
But you're also an artist too. I mean, we've seen some of your sculptures that are out in the yard and things like that. So, you bring that to the woodworking table as well. You know, that eye for art and aesthetics.
I love art, and I view furniture as art too.
Right.
I just I think they just complement each other, and I you could almost say that I stopped woodworking right around 1997, 98 because I was trying to make a lot of custom furniture, and at the same time I was making artwork for clients who were buying my custom furniture, and at the same time I had my first child, and then my wife and I decided to open up a brick and mortar business named the Laurel Tracy Gallery, and I put artwork in there and furniture, and I sold all my artwork, and I didn't sell my furniture, and I sold my artwork for more money. But I always wanted to make furniture. And so you'll see there's about a 15-year gap where mostly what I made was frames, picture frames. And picture frames can be pretty lucrative. And I'll just tell you the dollar, I charged $7.50 a linear inch for a frame.
Wow. Frames aren't easy to make.
And you know what? Part of it too is I was framing paintings for clients in New York City. Some of these paintings might have been $250,000. So they were comfortable with me handling the artwork.
You didn't want to oops there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty wild. And that was a fast forward crash course in art history. Our business went from basically trying to sell my artwork and my furniture and some people that I knew to focusing on two schools of art, one being Hans Hofmann, students of Hans Hofmann, and the other one, students of Edwin Dickinson. And we found that if we focused on a half a dozen artists combining those two schools, we were able to find a niche. And because Hans Hofmann, to buy a Hans Hofmann painting, you'd have to spend $1 million. So he was very famous in the art world, especially in the 50s and 60s. And so if you're a serious collector and you have the means, then you might want a student of Hans Hofmann. And so that's where, and we still work with these artists and we still work with these clients, but we don't do it from a brick and mortar space because we found we didn't need it. And business just got more, any brick and mortar space can get more and more expensive. In the town of Red Bank, I wasn't that easy of a town to work in.
Yeah, I just saw some listings like $4,000 a month for a very small on Broad, I think.
Yeah, rents have gone through the roof, and I don't know if it's warranted in Red Bank. I mean, maybe not in Manhattan now, but Manhattan before COVID.
Oh yeah.
What you were getting in Manhattan was new blood on a regular basis. When you have a brick and mortar business in a town like Red Bank, you're relying on those same people. And it's not just a traffic of people coming in from different states and different countries. It's the same people from Rumson and Fairhaven, and so
you might get the odd person coming in from an outlying town in Jersey, but it's
you said it. It's the odd person. It's the odd thing.
Yeah, it's not like groceries that you go and buy every week. You're not buying art and furniture every week.
Exactly.
So you really shrink when you make a sale. You're essentially shrinking down your customer base
every time. Yeah. So it was an interesting business, and we did it for about, I guess, 19 or 20 years. And like I said, we still do it, but we do it without the overhead. And my business works by having a lot of different revenue streams. So you're never counting on that one thing. So when that art sale happens, it's sort of like, oh,
smart.
That's a good one this time.
Yeah. And like us, you're working out there behind your house in the Red Barn. We've got the Pine Barn.
Yeah.
It's great. And you know, it's peaceful.
It is. This is a commercial property here. We're commercially zoned.
It's a great shop.
Yeah.
People love your shop.
Yeah.
You saw that from the from the video.
Yeah. How's the response been? Seems pretty good from what I've seen.
I was really happy with the view counts at 34,000 views, I believe.
Nice.
I think if you look at the back end of my YouTube analytics, it's up I forget what the number is, but it's way up compared to some of my other videos. So people really like it because I think most people who are watching my channel are woodworkers, and to get the opportunity to come into a professional shop and see your workflow and see how you tackle projects, just to see how you bring your lumber, the first step. Okay, it comes from here and it goes to the chop saw. And if somebody's already doing that, then it's an affirmation that, oh, I'm doing it
Yeah,
right.
you're doing it right.
And if they're not, they're like, oh, maybe I should reset this. Or so I know I enjoy shop tours and I like to get to kind of see behind the scenes. So for me, and it was a fun video for me to make because there's a constant pressure being a YouTuber or a content creator to create content. And so I'm sort of in a slow space right now because I'm doing all this work to the barn, and it just seems like one project turns into another project that really isn't great for video until it's all completely done. So by coming over here and spending a few hours with you guys and having Jeff show me around, that was a way for me to create content and not spend an entire week trying to build something.
It was a lot of fun for us too, and it
Yeah.
really, we were all impressed with how it turned out. So
Good.
You did an excellent job. We want to thank you for that.
Absolutely. It was my pleasure. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, like I told John, I said I'm glad I didn't look as nervous as I felt.
You're a natural.
Yeah, that's what I
what I
thought
said.
too.
It doesn't feel that way, but
I think you're a natural, and you're a technical guy.
Yeah.
I mean, so I met Jeff via Instagram, and it was an immediate respect because I saw the way he was installing hardware. And that's a mechanical skill that really takes discipline.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't happen fast. You don't show up at the job site at 7:30 and you're done at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
You might finish setting up by 9:30, and now you're ready to start actually working. And I respect that because it's it's not my favorite type of work. Actually, I like it I like it when it's happening and when it's done, but I'm a little intimidated beforehand. And it occupies my mind right up until the point of doing it because that's a no return.
Yes. You
Yeah.
drill that hole
Yeah.
through a finished door.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done it on like $10,000 front doors. That we did a job in Red Bank, and they had the door built in California, and they had it shipped to Mexico to be finished because it had some extreme high VOC finish, which that's the opposite of what we do. But so they had it shipped out of the country, shipped back to California, and then shipped to New Jersey. So doing the hardware on something like that, I mean, there's no going back from.
No.
It's perfection only, and that's like the only possible outcome.
I'll add this. So we got a copy of the video.
Yeah, this is funny.
And Rich and I are coming. We're in the car in Rich's truck driving back from his son's house. We'd gone up there to put a desk in. And so I'm watching it because I'm in the passenger seat, but I am holding it up and playing it loud enough for him to hear. And we're laughing the whole way down because Jeff knows the names of everything.
Yeah, exactly.
That we're learning. We're like, oh, is that what that's called? We were cracking up. I mean, tools that I owned for 15 years. Jeff is like, yeah, we got this over here and this does that. And we're like, you don't say.
I felt the exact same way when he was naming the sanders.
I know.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like an idiot because I don't know any. It's like, okay, this is a palm sander. This is a.
And then he's giving the model numbers of the vacuums and all
Yeah,
that.
I mean, that's a skill.
Yes,
like that's
yes.
it. And it's definitely just something that you have, and you must enjoy it because it just comes right to you.
Yeah, he's
The
a
names
real
of those-
tool nerd.
I've had you're
he's
busting
a-
my nuts about
he's a
something
tool
today.
snob.
About my chalk box.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing if you have it. It's an honest thing.
Yes.
Like for me to try to do that, I'd be completely forcing it. But like I know I have the Festool Capex.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's another name to it.
Yeah, that
I'd
does
make
have
up
one.
names.
Yeah, it's like the KS 1500.
Some- yeah.
That's the thing with Jeff. It all is an honest part of who he is. There's no pretension or anything like that.
I
Yeah.
told these guys, I was a waiter for a long time, and I would do like a table of I could do like up to 8 people without writing anything down.
That's impressive.
I'm hoping I hold on to it because,
Yeah.
I'm 31.
Yeah, he sees the other side of the mountain. Over
yeah,
here.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't hit the peak yet, but
You're young, 31.
I know.
Man.
Yeah. Millennial.
He complains about his knees sometimes. We go, no, just wait.
Yeah, it doesn't get any. Everybody,
back.
I'm 52, and a lot of my friends will say, you know, when I hit 50, the wheels just fell off.
Yeah.
So I actually started to really try to focus on maintaining, staying in shape about 3 years ago.
Yeah. It's important.
Yeah, and it just you feel better and mentally and physically. So I'm not I'm not one of these guys who's in the gym all the time, but I just try to get out and hike.
Yeah.
Try to keep active, maybe a little mountain biking and stuff like that. Because when you hit that 45, 50 age, you can either get old quick, or you can just sort of plateau.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see. Like I have friends who are in way better shape than me, and some that my daughter will think are 10 or 15 years older than me. So it's just it's one of those things. So at 31, yeah, you got a long way to go.
yeah,
Gee, I'm feeling old now.
yeah. But you're hitting the gym.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Rich is our senior member.
Yeah. I got years on you, too.
Yeah, you went to the
But
gym.
you
last
look like
night.
you're in shape. You look like a big guy because you wear sleeveless shirts. And
Yes.
like, this guy's a tough guy.
Yeah, I was just saying that today. See, it's true.
Yeah, I have to show my guns once in a while.
Got permit for those things?
I don't know.
What do you think? We lead in. Is this a lead in to the
Yeah,
next?
this is
a
actually
tool of the week?
This is still with John. It's the tool of the week.
Oh, good. I
So-
wanted to.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about this tool. This is funny. So you're gonna have to tell me what this is called, Jeff, because I don't know what it's called. I just call it my cutters or my nail cutters.
Yeah. Nippers.
Yeah, I mean,
Nippers.
We have one of
I
them.
call them dikes, but I think the technical term is probably diagonal cutters.
All right, getting into dangerous water there.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know. I'm not sure where that originated. Just passing the information along.
Okay. All right. Let's call them nippers or cutters. So I bought these because this is a funny story. It's a true story. I've had them for more than 30 years. They are a tool. This is a tool that I make sure I have with me whenever I go on an install, whenever I'm doing a job anywhere, because they can cut a 10 penny nail or a common nail. They can cut a screw. They can cut wires easily. But the way I got these was I was working. This is probably 1989, maybe. I had taken a break from working at the Woodworker with my boss, who I learned cabinet making from. And I was working for a company called Sugin Construction, Sugin Brothers, great guys. We built a few houses, did some attic levels, and then all of a sudden the economy just took a nosedive. And so they didn't have any work for a little while, and then I found this other job with this guy named John, and he was a mess. He was just everything the Sugin Brothers weren't. You know what I mean?
Is this a
He's
John?
like a Tom.
This is John.
Yeah. No, his name really is John, and he actually died shortly after
Oh,
me.
then that's okay.
After working with him for a while, and I know that because my last paycheck or something, I had something like that. It was a long story, but anyway. So I get this job working for John, and maybe a month after working for him and really realizing this guy's crazy, he teams up with 3 guys, and they're calling themselves power framers. Oh, God. That's what they're calling themselves, power framers.
That sounds ominous.
Yeah. So the first job we do is we go over to, I think it was called the 10 o'clock diner on Route 10, maybe in Parsippany. And there was a demolition job to rip every single thing out of a cinder block building. So if you've ever done a demolition, everything goes. The ceiling tiles goes, the floor, everything goes. And so it was probably 95 degrees, ridiculously humid. And right before lunch, I'm on one side of the building, but this other guy is sort of in eye view of me. I see him get stuck to a wire because he had choked up on his S-swing hammer, and he was probably sweating, and he clawed into a live wire. And so he's over there sort of shaking, and I see another guy come by and just push them off. And so that's like, this is what's going on, right?
And you're how old?
I'm like maybe 19 or something, right?
Power framers.
It's crazy. So the point of the story here is the building was heated with electric heat. And so my boss says, hey, you got to cut those wires and pull all that heating out there. I said, well, let's find out where this electric's coming from, because this guy almost just got electrocuted. and he says, he goes, no, you don't have to do that. You don't have to, whatever. It's just no sense could be talked into this guy. So
sounds familiar.
he walked over there with a pair of cutters similar to these and cut into, he's like, this is how you do it. And he cut into them. And it was like a small explosion. cut a, burned a hole in the wire cutters. And then he looks, he doesn't even flinch. He just looks, he goes, see, that's how you do it. Right? So then he gives me these wire cutters to go do the other ones. And I said, well, I'm going to get my gloves first. So I walk out and I still have my tool belt on, and I have these wire cutters now in my tool belt. And I walk out in my truck to get the gloves. And got in my truck and never saw them again.
I was about
Good
to
move.
say, but I didn't know if you were going to go back into
No.
there, and I was going to add. Now, did you think about just going home? But
That was it. And I tell you, and so the lesson there is, if your gut is telling you that these people are not the right people to be around,
Yeah.
especially when you're young, just trust your gut and just be like, okay, get out of here, because that could go bad quick. And there were so many signs there, but it just took that one thing.
that's
finally.
how you do it.
But I love these tools. I love these wire cutters. I do think of him occasionally, just like, wow, that guy was off his rocker. And just I mentioned that he died. He ended up having an aneurysm, so it was totally non-related with anything.
Yeah.
Just happened to.
Now, those happen to have a slight arch to them. Is that from tugging, or is that designed
I don't
into
think
it?
so, but that might be what I like about them, because
Yeah.
you can grab a nail and then use it as a pry.
Smack
Yeah.
your
Yeah,
knuckles.
because yours is like that.
Yeah.
Yours is very similar to that.
Well-
and we use that a lot.
Rob's got a pair of front cutters. That's what I call them. That's what I keep on an install. So they have the two in the front like this.
Okay.
And they're like, they might as well be serrated now.
We call it
because-
jailbreak.
Yeah, so tell the unabridged version of the story.
Well, I had this Volkswagen bus when I was going to college at ASU in Arizona, and I had parked inadvertently in a condominium parking space that belonged to somebody, and my bus got towed away when I came out. And back then I was sort of indignant that would happen to me. I found the yard that it was in, and I took my pliers, now known as jailbreak. I got my extra keys, and I cut down the chain link fence, and with my extra keys, I drove my bus away.
Wow.
That's why they're called
Yeah,
jailbreak.
we still use them.
That's great though that you got away with it. Couldn't do that today.
No, that's pretty much you could put that tagline on most of my adventures.
Rob has
Couldn't
lived.
do that today.
He's given up all his 9 lives.
That's funny. That's a good
There
one.
might be like a grandkid out there that's saying, that's the story that Grandpa told me.
That's a good one.
So if you get a knock on the door,
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Well, that's a great tool. We use that too.
Yeah, yeah,
It's one of these things when I don't know where it is, it bothers me.
yeah.
And there's only a few tools that I have like that. Just something about it. If I can't find it, and I don't lose many tools.
Yeah,
Because
But
it's just
30
me.
years. That's
That's how long I've had it. I can't believe it.
I'll give you another 10 years. You'll be losing tools.
yeah, they don't last now, you know, because I buy the Knipex ones, which they're made in Germany, and they're really not cheap, and even those like they'll get chipped up.
That's the thing with this. I mean, you can see the little light coming through there.
yeah, not much at all.
And so these have really gotten hard work. One thing I really like using these for is I was just taking the Romex off of the inside of the walls, and you just kind of grab the U-nail and squeeze down a little bit and use it as a claw bar almost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It works good. So it's just one of those things, and I thought, okay, that's a good one. Tool of the week.
Yeah, you know what I like about it is it's such a small, simple tool, and a lot of times, people might think, well, what's the tool of the week? It's got to be this grand reveal, but even when we've been bringing them out, Rich did the pencil one day. These are all the things that are closest to us.
Yeah.
There's more of an intimate relationship with those tools.
Yeah,
That's for sure. I mean, a big table saw was a great tool, but you're actually not touching it.
No.
Like where it depends, the feel of it in your hand has a lot to do with it. It's like you with that block plane.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I have like a $400 plane over there, but it's not the same as, you don't use it all day. I use a pencil and a tape measure all day, every day.
Yeah, yeah.
So you get really attached to these things. You find ones that you like. And
What tape measure do you use?
I use a Starrett. So I'm blocking this drawer, but it's a Starrett Exact. They're not made in Massachusetts like with all the other Starrett stuff. They're made in China, but we have an 18-inch Starrett combo square, and they line up dead on. I mean, I'd say that we probably use the tape within the first 18 more than we use it, otherwise. We're always marking out 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So having something that's accurate, and I'm sure it's accurate past that, but having something that's accurate in that 18 inches is very important.
We like the Tajimas too.
Yeah.
What's that?
Tajima, it's a Japanese.
Oh, I'm just using a 16-foot Stanley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking of getting something a little bit nicer. It's just always what I use. So just
Well, ask Rob. He spent 2 days looking for a tape measure.
2 days? Way more than that. Must have been 2 weeks.
you mean you misplaced
Yeah,
it?
grab one of your fancy tape measures.
No, on the internet.
Oh, really?
Oh, I have a tape right here.
These are Tajimas.
We were trying to find something not made in China.
Yeah, it's very hard to find a U.S. made
That's
tape
nice.
measure. The Stanleys and the DeWalt's will say made in the U.S. with global components, but that's kind of
I'll keep that in
fake.
my apron.
Okay.
Yeah, see, that's a combo tape
It's
measure.
metric.
I can't do that.
Do you do anything in metric?
No.
No, I'll do some 3D printing stuff in metric, but not woodworking. So I use a 16. That's a 12. It's a lot smaller.
So your 16 will have a 3/4 inch wide tape?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's too flimsy.
I don't like a flimsy tape like
Me
this.
neither.
This one right away, just the rigidity of that tape is nice.
Yeah.
It's a nice
I
tape.
use the same one.
The Starrett makes one like about that size too.
Yeah.
We were doing some framing this week over my wife, her sister, and another woman. They're opening a yoga studio. So we framed like a little wall, did the sheetrock, and we were both using that larger Starrett.
Yeah. The 16. Yeah.
We got some 30-footers.
I have a 31. I had the 31 with
that
me.
the Starrett guys gave us in Vegas, but they're like, if you use a 30-foot tape in a wood shop,
Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah.
That's why I use this one a lot. I like it because it's super lightweight, and really it's half of a joke because it's made in Germany, and trying to find a tape that's not made in China is almost impossible. And all of the other tapes that were larger, they're all fully metric, and this one's split metric and imperial.
Yeah, I noticed that all three of you wear aprons. I don't wear an apron. Maybe I'll have to try that one day. But you swear by them.
Yeah.
yeah.
Calavera Toolworks.
And you just like it because you have all your tools there. You like the safety aspect of it, or
Yeah.
Well, yeah, mine needs to be a little bit. When they bought it for me for my birthday, so I didn't really get a chance to customize it. But there were some changes I would make to it to make it a little bit more user friendly for me. But I love it. It's nice and heavy too.
when you say heavy, does it feel like weight on you, or
No, that's why I
no.
put it on. It feels it's heavy when I pick it up, but when I put it on, it doesn't.
Yeah, the suspender system is really well thought out.
You see that piece of walnut there that says think twice?
Yeah.
I took that in the stomach.
with the apron?
Yep.
No problem.
No. I mean, I had a big bruise, but it sounded like a major league pitch, like hitting
Yeah.
the catcher's mitt.
Wow.
Yeah. It fell off of the fence on top of the blade and came back at me.
You made me laugh because I don't know if you ever watch 1806 Stonehouse. He's a great guy. But anyway, he put up a short compilation of some of the projects because he's been renovating this house with his wife now and his two kids for maybe 4 years. So it's maybe like a 30-second video that came up on Instagram. And one of them is a piece of plywood and it just shoots out and hits him in the stomach. And I messaged him right away. I'm glad you're okay, but I had to laugh at that because it just was. You got to see it.
That's dark purple for 2 weeks.
Oh, man, yeah. His
Yeah,
reaction to it was his reaction to it was
Backwards.
priceless, and the music that he used in the video. It just his name is Lucas, I believe. He's got a good sense of humor, but a funny one. I've been hit once or twice, and it's no fun.
Yeah, no, it hurts. I have that little Veritas square in there, and I had like it was hanging down, and that's where it hit, and I had a rectangle that was like unbruised within the bruise.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, it just shows you the force.
Yeah.
yeah,
Once you get used to wearing those aprons, you don't really want to go back. I mean, even when we do jobs that are outside the shop, I like it because I just get used to having my things where they are. You know your little tape or your knife or your cutter, whatever you're holding with you, they're all there for you. And there is this nice protective feeling. You have your marking gauges and your pens and your such up top.
yeah. I mean, I went from a finish carpenter to a cabinet maker, so I went and carried my belt through. Like I wore an Occidental belt, and it's just so much more comfortable to wear an apron. Like you feel more
In tune.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
by the halfway through the day, if you're wearing a belt, you start to get hot spots on your hips, and it's pulling down on your pants, and you feel all the weight. With the apron, it's much more comfortable, and sort of you forget that it's there.
And it's not just any apron. It's these in particular, the way they're built. I mean, these Calavera aprons, they're all hand built one at a time.
Yeah.
So it's it's a work of art in and of itself, as well as a tool. But Jeff's right. You don't feel it on your hips or on your shoulders even at all. You don't. It's a well-designed tool.
Yeah. Plus, if you're wearing shorts, you can't tell if you're wearing any pants or not.
There you go. That's
We've
a
had that
bonus.
question. Somebody
how you
asked that
guys
question.
can. That's how you
Yeah, that
guys
was
can
my
blow
dad.
up on Instagram.
That's it.
The pantsless woodworkers.
Yeah,
just
and he has
can't turn
different
around.
he has different lengths and stuff. So I think mine is maybe the shortest one, and Rich has like maybe the medium sort of length.
Yeah, I got a short one, even
Yeah.
though I'm taller. And Mike, he was saying, "You sure?" I said, "No, I'm sure," and it's exactly the way I like it. Because it's sort of almost tool belt height for me. That's sort of how I wanted it.
Did you meet Mike before? Did you know Mike before Workbench Con?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I bought my apron maybe 3 years ago now.
So how did you find Mike?
Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if it might have been through like a giveaway that he was doing with somebody else, and I think that's maybe how I found him. And I followed for a while, and I always wanted one. Then it was like tax season, got a tax return. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to buy an apron.
It's an investment, but it's a lifetime tool. It's a lifetime thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
If a rivet gives way or something like that, which might happen in 10 years or something on a leather garment, you just replace it.
Yeah, I've put a chisel through my pocket, and I stitched it back up myself with. I had some leatherworking stuff before that, because I messed around with my belt. I made like little spots for certain tools, and made like a holder for my Construction Master calculator, stuff like that. So I actually have a patch. You can see that white thread there. So that's where I stuck a chisel right through the threads in the pocket.
You can see that would happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be lost without that thing.
Yeah, you get used to it. They were making fun of me because yesterday we were out at we went to the yoga studio. So instead of carrying it, I decided, well, I'm just going to put it on. So then once it's on, when you work in the shop every day, you don't really think about how you look or you're dressed or anything. So I'm out in public, out on the street, walking around with my apron on.
Going to get a coffee.
Anybody in Atlantic Highlands that saw a character walking around with an apron on at 8 o'clock in the morning?
That was Rob.
It was Rob.
I'm a woodworker.
Yeah, you don't think twice about it,
You've got the nice white bison with
Yeah, I
the.
do. I mean, it's really.
But the only thing he doesn't carry in it is any money.
No.
That's another story.
or identification, anything.
No. I'm not geared for the outside world.
What are you doing to the yoga studio?
So we built a couple benches with cubbies. And then we built a wall so they have a separate room. You'll be hanging a door in there. We did we got the material about 3:00 yesterday from Builders General. So we put up the wall. We finished that up today, and then we sheetrocked the inside. So we're going to insulate, sheetrock the outside.
I mean, it's a wall, but it's got 4 sides, 4 faces. The one wall has to go this way and that way.
Yeah, because there's a bathroom door that has to swing. So it's got like a corner cut out of it.
You're insulating it for sound?
Yeah. So
It'll
we
be
use
like
the
a
nice
therapy room.
the nice
Nice.
rock wool, the
Yeah.
good itchy stuff.
Yeah, that stuff is itchy.
Yeah, so that's it. You know, it's family. You get called in. We were over doing the desk, but Danny did some nice work for us.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
some
you
great-
saw that
Yeah.
video that I just put up today.
Yeah.
So that was Rich's son is the photographer and videographer for the Jets.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
he came
yeah.
in, shot some
Yeah, that was cool.
pictures and video. and-
Very impressive.
yeah, he's good. I mean, he must be.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's only how many teams in the NFL?
32.
32.
Yeah, so there's 32 guys like him out there.
And but you're a Cowboys fan?
Yes.
Saw that on the truck too.
He's not I can't say what he is. So
He's a Jets fan.
I can't bring that out. He's the Jets fan.
He loves the Jets.
It's his favorite team.
Yes.
Well, how you
We're not
feeling
going to
about
get into football.
the petty gripe of the week, there, Rich?
Okay, listen, this is my turn for the petty gripe of the week.
Well, you got to tell him, Rich, you know, this was usually
Yeah, this is usually
My
Rob's thing, but you know what?
Rob had a gripe too.
I came up with a better gripe.
and when I heard Rich's gripe, I had to, you know, just exit stage left.
Okay, here we are, scenario. Saturday afternoon, it's 4:00. You're sitting in your backyard. You're relaxing, having a beer. And all of a sudden, across the way, you hear somebody start their lawnmower up. And if it's not the lawnmower, it's the weed whacker or the trimmer. 4:00 on a Saturday afternoon. No, 6:00 on a Saturday afternoon. That late, he starts up his lawnmower. The man doesn't even have a job. Why does he wait till Saturday to cut his grass?
Now, how far away is this guy's house?
Right across the street.
So this is a suburban neighborhood.
Oh, if I had a gun, I could have shot him. But he's that close.
But you wouldn't have.
No, I would not have.
And you're not a very good shot. So
And
you
this
must
is
be
not
close.
this is not just this past Saturday. This has been going on all summer. The guy just doesn't have any clue that he's annoying people that are sitting trying to relax. Maybe it's me. Maybe you shouldn't cut your grass at Saturday at night in the afternoon.
Yeah. So what are your you have parameters to
Yes, you want to cut your grass 10 to 2 on a Saturday. Or cut on the weekend. I don't care. You cut you on the grass all weekend if you want.
Week, you mean?
Weekday, exactly. But Sunday, Saturday, do not be cutting your grass in the afternoon.
Are you talking about legislation here?
Oh yeah, I'm going to push for it.
You got to start going to council meetings.
Oh yeah,
I think, you know, the viewers may not know, our viewers, but your viewers certainly know that you're interested in landscaping and such.
But I agree with Rich because my biggest frustration about making videos is my neighbor with a leaf blower. And so I have a neighbor across the street and he's not blowing his leaves. This guy is like, I think he invented like cell towers or something. He's they have 17 acres and their horses, they have all these horses and all this stuff. Anyway, they have 1 or 2 maintenance guys who work there, and they literally would start up at 6:30 in the morning sometimes, where I'd walk over. So one time we had a snowstorm, and I get up very early. I love the morning. Nobody's awake. The house is
Yeah.
quiet. I can get something done. And it's maybe 10 after 6, and I'm like, oh, this is nice. There's an inch of snow on the ground, and it's snowing right now. And all of a sudden I hear the leaf blower. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And so I walk over there, and I told him, I said, you can't do this. I mean, you got to at least wait until 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it's a frustration for me, but I am guilty of using a leaf blower. They're really, really loud and really obnoxious. And when you have neighbors, I think I use my leaf blower once a week. Literally, this my neighbor, because it's such a big piece of property and it's the maintenance guy, every day, this time of year,
Oh yeah, but
this time of year,
dropping.
every day. I mean, he could theoretically wait.
Yeah.
He could be like, okay, well, Thursdays and Mondays are a good day. Let the leaves accumulate a
Exactly.
little bit. But he doesn't. It's every day. And
no, this guy has no right. He's got no sense.
you won't talk to him?
You know what? If I talk to him, I'm going over there with a bat.
But can you do that without going over
I
there
don't
with a
know
bat?
because I'm.
What about a note?
I could do
Yeah,
that.
that's a
I never
good
thought of
idea.
that.
Just do a note. Say, you're a really great neighbor or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you could cut your lawn between these times, that way you always look good.
Yeah.
Do I have
Yeah.
to sign it?
Trust me, I'm the same person. I'd talk myself down
Yeah,
because I'm like, there's been times when I'm walking across the street and then I'm like, wait a minute, mellow out. This doesn't have to go there.
I think it's self-defense. I had a bat. He had a lawnmower.
I know your frustration, but I would go. I would definitely. You'll feel better.
Oh yeah, you know what? That's a good idea.
Yeah, it
it's
is.
a good
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, because then at least you've expressed your distaste in his timing.
Yeah.
So if you do get in an argument about it or something, it's at least
Well, he's
it's
got to
not-
know it's somebody
off
in
the
that
bat.
area.
Oh,
Well, you
but you
sign
sign
it.
it.
Yeah.
Sign it. No, just
Okay.
say, hey, I'm right across the street. Go to the dollar store and get yourself a nice card.
Like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah. I want to know what you got on those other three.
Yeah, you'll know.
Yeah, that was a good idea. I'm sure you're touching a nerve out
Yeah,
there.
Yeah.
exactly.
See, I have the electric mower, but I still wait until like at least 9.
Yeah, that's just.
Yeah, late in the morning, but just stop after 2:00. Jesus Christ, stop already.
See, I get your frustration, but there's some other guy that doesn't want to hear it between 10 and 2.
Yeah. I come from the city. I've been out here for a long time, almost 20 years. So we never experienced these things. We didn't have lawn mowers and such. And I call it the song of the suburbs, those gas-powered tools, because there's always somebody using one. If you live in a neighborhood where there's like 4 yards that sort of meet in a corner somewhere, it's that close, you're going to hear something almost every day.
Absolutely. And like I said, I'm guilty because I cut my lawn and I use the leaf blower and I do all that stuff, but I don't do it. The only difference, and so I have a neighbor directly across from me and they'll cut their lawn.
Yeah.
But again, it's the homeowner doing it. So I'm the homeowner doing my work. He's the homeowner doing his work. And the other piece of property is just a mammoth piece of property. I think there's 4 homes. I think there's 2 stables, 3 houses on 17 acres, and it's just nonstop. So Sunday the blower will come out, and it actually has affected my quality of life because it gets me aggravated,
Oh yeah.
and
Rich texts us. We're talking after work, and Rich is showing us pictures. He's sitting out with his chimney going,
Yeah.
and he's got a cold, frosty one. And
This
then
on you hear
15 minutes later,
going on, all going. Oh, it's.
I told you, buy him an electric mower.
No, I ain't buying him no electric mower. I'm gonna buy him a bat for his head. No, not really. I'm not gonna do that. Just in case something happens to him.
yeah.
Yeah. We have a suspect.
they're coming straight for you, Rich.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen. So I hope that you guys chime in. What time you should be cutting your grass,
Yeah, what day, what time?
especially on the weekend? I want to know. Am I nuts?
No,
I don't know.
well, I mean, even in John's case with the neighbor, I don't cut my own grass, but I tell the lawn guys when it's okay to come. They'll text me, can we come here on this day at this time? I would say, no, that's not appropriate. I'm sorry it doesn't work out for you, but you have to come, after such and such a time.
I've had the power washer washing the deck. My neighbor was outside, the next door neighbor, and I stopped and said, "Do you mind if I'm going to run the power wash for a while? If it's annoying you, I won't do it now." And she said, "No, don't worry about it." So I was aware of what I was going to do might infuriate somebody else on a Saturday afternoon. It wasn't that late; it was around 11 o'clock. But I just was aware of my surroundings and said, well, I don't want to make a big noise. If they're having a barbecue and they're in the pool, I'm out there cutting the grass and cutting the weeds and all that, and everything's shooting up out of the air. It's not the right thing to do.
You're very neighborly.
I am.
Rich is a neighborly guy.
You're damn right I am.
That's the feel I get.
Just don't catch him with a bat.
Now, John, I hope you're ready for this.
Oh yeah.
We came up with something that we want to do with all our guests, and it's 20 quick fire questions. Now, we don't
can
want
go
you
for
to
it.
dwell on it. We just want an answer, and maybe
quick.
if we want to go to the next level,
Okay.
we'll ask you about it. So we're going to keep going on around the table here. So with our questions. So Rob's first.
No, I'm first.
Jeff's
Oh.
first.
It's like an either or kind of thing.
Okay, great.
So, coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Biscuit joiner or domino?
I just got the domino. Have to learn how to use it.
Boxes or briefs?
Boxers.
Painted or stained?
Both.
Spring or fall?
Spring.
16-inch tape measure or 25-inch tape measure?
Foot.
You mean
Foot.
Yeah, foot. Sorry.
16 foot.
That's a small tape. Hamburger or hot dog?
Hamburger.
Regular or mechanical pencil?
Regular.
Seinfeld or The Office?
The Office, but both.
Square drive or Phillips?
That's a no-brainer. Phillips.
I like Phillips.
Windows or Mac?
Oh, wait. Square drive?
Screws.
I thought we were talking about slit drive. What do you call it when it's
Oh,
just
like a slotted.
Slotted.
I'm
yeah,
going to
so
say, I'm
square
gonna
or
say square.
Phillips?
I'm saying square
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Actually, star. I like star.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Oh,
Rich
yeah.
got
Rich likes the star. So we got Windows or Mac?
Mac.
Push saw or pull saw?
Pull saw.
Chicken wings, bone in or boneless?
Bone in.
And sub question, blue cheese or ranch?
Blue cheese.
So, those are correct answers.
Dovetail or box joint?
Dovetail.
You already answered this question. Morning person or night owl?
Morning person.
Inset or overlay?
Inset or overlay?
Doors.
Doors.
Inset.
All right.
Except for shop furniture.
Yeah. Beach or mountains?
I'm more mountains. I used to be more beach.
Type bond 1, 2, or 3?
2 is easier to clean up, I think.
Pizza or Chinese?
I'm going to say both, but I would lean towards Chinese.
All right. Last but not least, bar clamp, pipe clamp.
Bar clamp? A bar clamp.
All right.
Okay, you could stay.
That was fun. That's a good one, guys.
We had a hard time coming.
Those are good ones. I like that.
That was like the entire lunch yesterday. It was like, man, we're going to come up with 20
It's
questions.
very telling of who you're, you know. I heard something good on Joe Rogan the other day. He goes, I can tell a lot about a person if they think that Lee Harvey Oswald was a lone gunman.
Exactly.
It was like, wow, that's a
That's
good
some
one.
He's got a good one.
supernatural skill.
Yeah.
So we got to get moving. We got a lot of stuff on the menu.
Yeah, we got 2 pages
All right,
today.
cool.
Never had 2 pages. So Jeff, you want to go with the first question of the week?
Yeah, so this is from Alec. That's Alhead Woodco on Instagram. Repeat offender here. He said, I try to get in the habit of creating a jig or template anytime I have repetitive work on a project. What are some of your go-to jigs that you couldn't live without that save time and improve accuracy?
My go-to jig has been a crosscut sled. I just love a big crosscut sled.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
We've messed around with a couple. Now we have the saw stop, so we don't really use one a lot, but they're good for doing dados in the middle of stuff like that. I think I just took apart that one that we had.
Yeah, the old one.
We built the confession or the altar rail for St. Anthony's. Every baluster had a dado in the in the center. It fit over top of the bottom rail and the top rail.
Wow,
So we made a
300.
we made 42 feet of 4-inch on center
Wow.
balusters. So we made a full jig to do that. We talked a lot about this. We don't have a lot of jigs that we use all the time.
Yeah.
We're more purpose built
Yeah.
sort of jigs. we'll find a task and say, man, we need to figure out how to do this quick.
I think the only one we have around the shop, and we don't even use it that much, we have a little, it's like a crosscut sled, but it cuts a 45. So it's essentially a
For making
square.
frames.
Yep.
Yeah. Turn 45. And it's great for cutting like very small pieces, 5/16 of an inch square or something like that you'd use to just accent a panel or something.
I liked Jeff's term purpose build.
Yeah.
Or purpose jig, because I'm sort of the same way. I don't use a ton of jigs, and often when I'll build something, I'll think, okay, I'll build this, but then I end up never building the same thing again, and
Yeah.
then it just sits.
They hang on
I
the
have
wall
one.
for a couple of years until we finally, when we're having a cleansing.
Yeah, that's
or a
a
purge.
Yeah,
they
a
go.
purge. You got to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I just thought of this. So this is bench dog angle jig set fence to 5 5/8 of an inch. So that's to cut to cut this angle. To cut this small angle on these bench dogs.
Well, you might use that one a lot because those will break and you'll replace them.
Right. So I'll hang on to it.
Yeah.
But it's not something that
small.
gets pulled out. It hasn't gotten
You
pulled
see all
out
the
since I
dust
made
on
it.
it.
Yeah. But I can see you put a lot of care into that, the joinery and everything in that jig. I like that.
Yeah, we have a nice
That's how my jigs look.
18-inch nail.
Everything's just popped
18 gauge
together
nails.
with an 18-inch and a quarter nail.
Scrap of plywood.
It is walnut plywood though.
Yeah, there you go. Put some stain on that.
That's
And you
what
got to
I,
write
or
the
oil.
instructions because you will forget by the
Oh,
next
for sure.
time you
Yeah.
use
that's
it.
what I love about these two guys. They can see. You guys can build jigs for anything. Me, I'm still like trying to figure out. Mine would look worse than that. But these two guys, they have a good eye for coming up with a real good jig for a lot of the work that we do.
Yeah,
It's
thanks.
amazing what a jig will do.
Yes.
I mean, it's from a safety point of view sometimes, and just being like, I've become a big user in flush cut bits, and so I'm always for shaping something. I'll just make a quick thing out of MDF, and the ball bearing seems to roll nicely against the MDF.
This is going to be a 2-beer
There you go.
session.
Yeah, I think we might be more template oriented than
Yeah.
jig.
You ready for another one?
It's hard.
good, thank
It's
you.
hard because everything we do is like a one-off. So it's hard to make something that's going to be.
I think if you're making tables, over and over again, then it makes sense. That's where that jig is. You just kind of
Well,
bang
the
it
only
out.
thing we have a jig for now is the Adirondack chair.
Yeah.
Basically, we have all the patterns cut.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's basically,
over
we
there
count
on the
that as a
bench.
jig.
It's about 10 pieces with the instructions written on them. How to create we have like a sort of a craftsman style Adirondack chair.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
like
we're
to see
looking
it.
to do a whole.
You should make a video about it.
Yeah,
At least
that's-
document it so you can. If you don't want to, if you don't want to do the voiceover, although I think you've got a great voice for voiceover, and I'm not just picking him out of YouTube.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying
Yeah,
Jeff-
because
Jeff-
you met him in Atlanta and all that.
he's got a good voice. No, he can actually. I mean, some people can do voiceover,
Yeah,
and
Jeff's literate. He does a really good job.
he knows the
calling
names
me
of
illiterate?
things.
You haven't seen me read.
He knows the names of things, and so-
Yes,
but
he's-
anyway,
yes.
but my point being there is, it takes so much more time to build something, and it takes some of the fun out of it sometimes
Yeah.
to film it. But when the job is done, you'll have all that footage that you can edit, then re-edit for so many different platforms and platforms that aren't even out there yet.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we were talking about TikTok earlier, which I just thinking about starting, and I think, well, geez, I've got almost 10 years of content that I've archived, and I can re-edit it for TikTok, and the same thing. So building an Instagram, like, so we've talked that you've gotten a lot of your business and your connections through Instagram.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll put up a post of like a Flashback Friday fast forward build that happens in 30 seconds. And literally I only thought about posting that, at 6:30 in the morning. I'm like, I'll put that up at 8:30. And by the end of the week, it might have 50,000 views
Wow.
and get 400 new followers. So you don't really, like, often I don't know what's going to hit and what's
Right.
not going to hit. But what it is, I think what it's doing is it's always telling the story of, in my case, and it will be in your case, of who I am and who you are.
Yeah.
Because the content is formed around anything you're doing or making.
Yeah.
So something like an Adirondack chair, especially something with an arts and crafts feel to it, I think could really blow up.
Yeah, so Rob actually just finished the I wouldn't say finished, but
Yeah.
basically completed the plans with
And the instructions, yeah.
the instructions on how to build, the SketchUp drawings, all that. So we're
So
hoping
then you
to
could
shoot a
sell the-
video and then put out the plans for purchase with the video.
That's become a nice revenue stream for me, is selling plans lately.
Mm-hmm.
I had always given my plans away because they were just hand drawn plans. I haven't taken the time to learn SketchUp or any of the other
There's
things.
a full part by part dimension with instructions.
That's a beautiful thing. So if you make the video on the how to and then you have the plans, that way somebody like me or anybody can go and watch it on YouTube, buy the plans, and I get in on sometimes my comments that when someone's building a piece of furniture that I've built and put on YouTube and they've bought the plans, they have a TV in their shop with a, fast forward and rewind, and it's almost like a private instruction.
Yeah.
So I think you should do that. I think that you guys will. I mean, look at the technology leap. Literally
I know.
Oh,
here
yeah.
I know.
in the last 2 months, there's been a
Yeah.
huge technology leap. I think, and
Yeah.
so you'll laugh about it. It'll be a pain, but then when you have it, it'll be done.
Yeah. And we're hoping Danny will help us out.
Yeah, he says, because he wants some more work in his house. So
There you go. Oh, you're doing the
We
trade
live,
thing.
Yeah.
we live in the barter economy.
Yeah.
over
we
here.
just finished his desk. So, and all my other children out there, don't get any ideas.
Danny's a real contributor.
chance.
just so
Oh,
you
not
know.
that my other son has it. He
Oh yeah,
he
In
ran the
fact,
electricity for us. So
We're in debt to Ricky. We are. We actually ran up a tab with Ricky because he
Yeah.
ran all the 220 for us every time.
Oh, he's an electrician.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
When we got new equipment, he
Oh,
came
man.
out and he didn't just do this slam bang job. He came out. He spent
yeah.
hours running lines,
Bending the conduit.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he took the time to do really, really nice work.
Okay, we
And-
got an air conditioner and
Yeah.
we're gonna need somewhere to plug it in.
So, Ricky, it's coming. Believe me, it's coming.
Yeah. We don't know what, but
yes,
Well, we
I know.
know, we know.
He saw Danny's desk, and I got
Yeah.
a note that said "nice desk."
Yeah.
So
No, it's
I know
okay.
there was a little bit of
we can
Yeah.
build them a desk.
It's gonna
undertone in his
surpass
voice
that desk,
there.
though. It's going to be much more.
Well, I hate to tell you guys, he wants two.
Yeah, well,
2 desks?
no.
2 of those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only fair. It's only fair.
That could be the kick in our ass that we need.
Oh, he'll watch the video. We'll give him the plans. You can do next one.
That's what I said.
That's what, take that opportunity, take that project opportunity
Exactly.
to make a video, and then
Yeah.
it pays. Then you got your electrical work, and then it pays on the YouTube content creating
Exactly.
end.
Yeah. Question number 2.
Yeah. Who wants to read it?
Go ahead, Rich.
After rough cutting parts, how long do you let them acclimate before moving on? And this is from Keith from 2-Bit Woodworks.
Oh
You
yeah,
know Keith.
Yeah, I don't. I just keep working.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I get to it that day, generally things are in my shop, and I don't.
Yeah.
I don't get too crazy about that.
You
I
don't
mean,
work-
I'm using-
You don't work with Jeff.
I'm using kiln dried wood, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, after rough cutting, I wouldn't say that we let it acclimate. I like to, after it's face jointed and plain. That's the other difference. We're working with rough
Where I'm
lumber,
mostly
Yeah.
using S4S.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah.
so that's already moved a lot. So we face joint plain, and then I like to let it sit overnight,
Okay.
Yeah.
just
it's
because
fixed.
you're exposing. The outside of the wood has the lowest humidity or the lowest moisture content. So once you take those off, you've exposed an area with more moisture. So you really should let it sit, at least for a little while.
We might be taking off 1/4 of an inch, so
Yeah.
we're exposing a lot of new wood.
Yeah.
And I might just be letting it sit because a furniture build, and most of them are recorded now, takes me 3 times as long to
Yeah.
build if I'm filming.
That's right.
Definitely,
At
because
least.
yeah, it takes
Yeah.
so much longer to build. But the thing I love about that though is it is a timeless thing, and there's sort of a nice feeling of thinking like maybe one day one of my kids will build one of these
There you
things,
go.
and I'll be able to explain it to them.
Grandkid.
Who knows? You never know.
Yeah. So Keith, I hope that answers your question. I guess if you're working with S4S, just rough cutting it to length, probably you don't have to wait at all. If you're surfacing wood like we are,
Yeah.
it's good to wait a day or so in between.
And sticker the
steps.
wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, we put little 1/2 by 1/2 stickers between everything. Keith is he's going to come on the podcast in about 3 weeks, I think. Yeah.
It's news to me.
All right.
Yeah, he's a
It's
great
not
guy.
news to you.
I'll be recording a video with him tonight at 6:00.
Yeah,
Usually
he
we do
actually-
it on Thursday.
We were talking a little while ago. He said, "Yeah, I'm trying to pick out beer for tonight."
One big happy family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we hit this next question a little bit on the 20 questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bridger1101 on Instagram. He wants to know what's your preferred type of door? Inset, overlay, half overlay?
I like inset. Inset is the nicest.
Yeah.
I like inset doors and inset drawers.
Yes.
Agreed.
I think we all like that. I mean, we appreciate the craft of doing it. Possibly in like an ultra modern piece, an overlay, a full overlay might work design wise.
Yeah.
To get a big flat slab
Sure.
kind of look. But in general, if you're talking to woodworkers, we're gonna want to, flex a little bit and do the nicest, hardest.
Yeah. And John
Yeah.
made a good point that for shop wise, overlay doors is fine
Oh yeah, it'll be whatever's on hand most of
Exactly.
the time.
Depends on who's building it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We don't want to look over there.
What's funny though, and I think that one of the comments that kept coming up in the video I did of the shop tour here is how nice the shop is, and I think that even with over what do you call them again?
Overlay.
Overlay doors still looks good.
Yeah.
But the idea of excuse me, the idea of having a shop that looks nice and looks organized, especially in this time of Instagram and YouTube and everything else, helps because you're almost creating a space that the viewer would want to be in. So I
Yeah.
try to think of that. And if you go back to like the very first videos I did, I mean, they're just the shop is horrible. I mean, so the cabinets are cabinets that were once in the house, so they're
Put
birch,
that up there.
pretty much like that.
Overlay.
And I used to clean my brushes, my paint brushes, to get some of the paint out. I would just rub them on the doors to get the excess paint out. So I look at those old videos, and the shop is just a disaster because I didn't care. Now it's nicer to. I like being in the nicer shop. It's more comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, we spend a lot of time here.
Sure.
We do.
So, you like to be around nice things. So
Yeah.
for me, I mean, it took me, I don't know, 2 days to build that sanding cart.
And it's nice.
Yeah, I mean the wood, it's nice wood, but it's not really about that. We have the wood laying around; it's everywhere. We burn more wood than some people buy in a year.
The cutoffs. Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's the best way to get rid of scrap wood.
Yeah.
You don't feel as bad.
No.
yeah,
Throwing it in a can is just like a sin.
we give
Throwing
away.
it
I
in-
mean, we give away. We'll have a guy come and pick up 6 55-gallon barrels full of cutoffs.
I can see it because what are you going to do? And there's like you said, you have to purge
Yes.
occasionally, and you really do. Otherwise, the walls just close
Yeah,
in.
you can't save everything.
No.
And once you get rid of it, you don't even remember you had it.
And it's more work to try and figure out how to use a piece that you have than it is to just
100%.
pull in another board, mark it up, and cut it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times because we don't use opaque finishes 99% of the time, it doesn't match. We want to take it from the same batch of wood where it's coming from a few trees and the tone and the grain and everything is going to be a better match for the entire project, for the suite of pieces that will go with it.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes total sense.
Yeah, so I'd rather take a little extra time and make
Well,
it nice.
I was going to say one other thing. So, like, a good shop that's well maintained, in my view, because I'm thinking about my shop. I was thinking about myself. I'm starting to consider my shop like a productive man cave.
Yeah.
So it's a place I want to be, but it's a place where things actually get done. So I'm gonna. Everybody knows I'm sort of renovating it a little bit and pushing walls out here and there.
Yeah.
And the goal is to really make it a place that I really want to be in.
Yeah.
And when somebody comes in there, they're like, wow, this is really a good place to be.
Well,
It's like being at the Norm Abrams shop from this
Well,
old.
we all started by watching that PBS show.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not to spend too much time, but if you look around, you'll see we have a witty dartboard over there. We all bought and made wooden darts.
Yeah, we didn't know that there were 24 or
12. Yeah, 12.
Yeah, so we have,
got
we have
36.
music playing in here, all day long. We all
You don't
we
want
have-
to see our Scully board. That's
We
on
have
the ground.
Scully on the pavement here. So we, as Jeff said, we spend a lot of time here, and we can relax here. We have the extension outside, which is the deck on the back. That
nice.
The guys generously, came and helped me build, because it's actually stuck to the back of my house. But we spend a lot of time there.
Sure.
And so this is a home away from home for everybody.
That's nice.
Yeah, it is.
It's like that commercial. I may have said this before. What is it, like happy cows make good cheese?
I don't remember you saying that, but it makes sense.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
If you're miserable at work, the work is gonna be affected by that.
Yeah, it'll
so.
be reflective of that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Guys, we sound like politicians now because we're way beyond what the question was.
Yeah. All right. Let's
I need
move
a mute
on.
button.
Don't forget to add the southern accent.
Oh, yeah. Who's reading it? Me?
You did.
Okay. This is from Vance Edwards on YouTube. What do y'all think is the most overrated woodworking tool? Overrated.
I'll let John answer this.
That's hard.
First,
That's a hard question.
We actually discussed this before this, and we came up with one.
Woodworking
Now I
tool.
remember. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. It's kind of a personal.
Wow.
Yeah,
Overrated.
Usually if you've had a bad experience with something, it'll probably.
I'm going to drop these pieces on the table and see if this will spark something.
Oh, glue caps?
The shop bot,
Gluebot.
the glue bot.
The fast
Oh,
cap
that-
Gluebot.
I don't use a glue bot.
It
Us
was no. Well, we don't anymore. We've all used
had
it in
one.
times of
I have my own
woodworking
glue bottle.
professional.
Like a generic sort of bottle.
It's like it's just like a generic bottle. It's a soft plastic and it squeezes nicely.
No, this was
Yeah.
the one that had the
I've
Comes
seen
from the bottom
people
up.
using that for years, and I
Yeah.
always thought, I don't
no,
need that.
It's like a gravy boat.
I was
for,
about to say it's
Yeah.
the same principle of the fat separator
Yeah, not a gravy
for,
boat, yeah.
I got
for
you.
gravy.
Yeah. I've had an issue. The cap always leaks air, and then you squeeze it, and the glue doesn't want to come out. I threw them all away. I had a couple of they're gone.
Huh. I don't. I think I've pared my shop down to everything that I don't think is good or usable.
Yeah, we had a hard time. We don't even have one of these here.
Exactly. I went to look for one, but this
We
only
threw
had
it away.
left.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of silly things in the
Yeah.
some of these woodworking catalogs. I'm not going to
Yeah.
say. I'm not going to name any of them.
Yeah, but we all are thinking of something.
I will. Some of this woodpecker stuff. I don't need a $200 speed square.
Yeah.
It's not a woodworking tool, in my opinion. That's for framing. These depth gauges for the table saw.
Oh, the blocks and things like that.
Well, it has two sides with a little it's like a combo square that you can
Okay.
sit and measure the height of the blade.
Yeah, I wouldn't use that.
Yeah.
For me, I mark a line and I'll bring the blade up to the line.
And then I'll test it. So if I'm making a lap joint, it
Exactly.
might look like it's on the line, but I'm like, let me test it real quick.
Yeah.
And then I might have to lower it or raise it or whatever.
yeah.
It's funny. There's always going to be a difference between somebody who's doing something every single day. Like on our throat plates, before we got the saw stop, they were just homemade, shop made throat plates that were made out of wood.
But you raise the blade through.
Yeah. And so on the underside, I would have marked the depth of, let's say, a common thing like, a dado or something in a stile and rail. So that's where it's always there in place of those depth blocks. It's just a pencil line on the throat plate. Then as I raise up the blade, put the throat plate back in, and so there's really no need for those tools.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of the big woodworking catalogs that are full of things that that I don't need, that I just don't need, and anything that you don't need is in your way.
Yeah, that's what happens. I mean, we're in a limited footprint here, and every day almost we're thinking about it in one form or another. Like, how do we rearrange this? Where do we stick this? You could see the big sanders shoved it kind of out of the way there.
Yeah, out of in disrepair again.
It's out of commission right now.
What about a Performax?
We had one. Yeah.
You didn't like it, or
Too much deflection because of the open end.
okay? I had the 25 to. I used to have the 2-drum 25.
Oh, really?
But you need something bigger than 25.
Well, see, we were thinking about getting rid of this, and now we're thinking we're going to repair it.
Well, that's where I
again.
saw this for sale sign.
Yeah.
I think on Instagram.
So the bearings are, I mean, I guess you call them bearings. They're like these bronze bearings on the drum. They first one went out, and now the other one went out because I guess the first one was messed up first. So we're going to replace the drum and see what happens, and probably try and keep it.
We're
But
gonna give Barry another chance.
Barry Sander.
I mean, in theory, it's a 38-inch dual drum sander. It should be, an asset to the shop.
Yeah.
But we got it. We replaced the feed belt motor. Jeff and I had this thing apart one day, down to thing we didn't even know what we were doing.
Yeah. I think we put more into it than we even paid for it.
Yeah, we bought it really inexpensively. Otherwise, we probably would have just set it out on the curb by now, because it's been frustrating. One piece or one element goes after the other.
It was probably used hard.
Yeah.
Before you got it.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I mean, they said they didn't really use it, but
But I don't think they took care of
I
it.
think having sat for a long time.
I don't think Blaisdell used it. I think whoever had it before Blaisdell probably used it, because I was good friends with everybody over at Blaisdell, and I would go there, and I never saw there was. So at Blaisdell, you had Bruce, you had Jerry. Jerry passed away about a year ago.
Yeah.
And then you had Al. Yeah, Jerry was a super nice guy.
Yeah.
What a sweetheart of a guy. And then you had Al, who was a much older gentleman, and he would just kind of tinker around and do some things that Bruce wanted done.
Yeah.
Some things for clients, but that wasn't a wood shop that was humming at all.
Yeah, no, he said he would like sand some skateboard tops and things like that. They had
doors and stuff.
they had the sandpaper like 1 foot on one side. They didn't even have the whole roll.
I can see that.
I think it was like a snowball effect when that bearing went. It set off a chain reaction to all these other areas, and
we didn't know enough about the machine.
yeah, and I've heard from a couple other people that have had similar experiences with the Woodmaster. That the customer service just not
Oh,
that
it's
good.
horrible.
Is Performax customer service any good? I used to have one, and I gave it to my friend Anthony over at Real Antique Wood for his home shop. It was too big for my shop. It needed some work, and I just got a little jet for what I do, and that works pretty good. But I thought it was a pretty strong machine at the time.
We never really needed it. I mean, we pushed that machine past what it was meant to do, and so I don't think we ever faulted it for maybe not doing anything more.
Yeah, I mean, we put like 1,000 board feet of white oak through it.
That's right.
What thickness paper or what grit?
Probably 120, maybe.
Maybe 150 and 150 and 220 maybe.
Was it double drum?
Just the
No.
single
Okay.
1632.
And then you did twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I like a drum sander. That's one of the tools that I would probably use more, not because I'm buying most of my wood S4S, that I use more than a planer.
yeah, of course.
I love just being able to bring something down to an exact thickness
yeah.
and take the blade marks off of something. It's just a nice tool.
Yeah, that's what we were kind of hoping with this. It's been real hit and miss because we're constantly having to learn all like sort of idiosyncrasies of this particular machine.
So it's not a time saver that it needs to be.
Not yet.
Right.
Not yet. At times it's been when we did that big
Kitchen job.
Yeah. Maybe if it was brand new, maybe. But I think there's just some
We've been
issues.
chasing it. We've
Yeah.
been chasing
Yeah.
all the worn out parts.
That's a frustrating thing because your day completely changes in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be, this will be done by 11 or whatever.
Yeah.
And at 11, you're still trying to figure out what's wrong with it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so now we got so we ordered the new bronze bushings. We get them in, then we come to find out, well, the hole that the bushing goes in the drum has been like totally reamed out and it's a loose fit.
Oh.
So not only do we wait for those to show up to find that out, now we have to order a new drum. We have to wait another, whatever it's going to be, 5 days or something for the new drum to show up.
You might want to just get a small one just to have here when this one, just to keep you being able to move.
Yeah.
Well, we decided that we're going to fix it, give it its 15th chance, see how it works, and then if it doesn't work, we're just going to.
Yeah.
There's
There's
We'll
only
part
so much.
ways.
Yeah. I'd love to get a wide belt sander, but they're very expensive.
All right. So I don't know if we answered your question there, Vance, but
Overrated? Yeah, the glue bot.
Bluebot, yeah. And anything that really doesn't do what it advertises to do.
Yeah, something that's costs more than it's worth.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Barry Conrad on Instagram, he asks us, do you charge by the hour or price jobs complete?
Yeah, I mean, if you've listened to the podcast, we've talked about our pricing structure. We break down time and material, and give that directly to the client.
Yeah.
So.
I think he might be inferring, do we have this running tab and then we give it to the client at the end of the job and say, well,
Oh,
it took
no,
us
no.
124 hours. That would be glorious.
Yeah.
You know, if any woodworker could do that. We do figure out the job based on the hours and present it before the job. But if we tell the client it's going to take us 100 hours and they agree to pay us for 100 hours, if it takes us 150 hours, that's on us.
Yes.
Is that the same for you, John?
I bid a job. So if I'm building a piece of furniture, I'll say, this is what it's going to be. And then no matter what, I never ask
Right.
for a penny more.
That's
Right.
it. Yeah, that's your word.
Yeah, it
Right.
just doesn't matter.
No.
If something took a little bit longer or the lumber was a little bit
Right.
more expensive or something bad something went wrong with the finish and I had to redo it.
Yeah.
They don't care.
I think we agree 100%
Yeah.
just on principle. That's our responsibility.
Yeah, you figured that out before the job, and
And I think that applies with woodworking and furniture making. I think in construction, it may not because you don't know what you're getting into until you get into a wall.
Right. Pre-existing.
You know?
That's true.
You get into a wall and you're like, oh man, this needs to get done too. And then I think that the client understands that.
Yeah.
But if you say that it's X for this table, then it's pretty clear that it's X for this table. Going into a wall or
Oh, yeah.
you never know what you're gonna
Well,
hit.
I mean, anytime we're going to build something into a home, we'll note that in our contract that, this is dependent on these conditions existing. And if they don't, we'll have to,
That makes sense. 'Cause
Revisit
With a
that's-
change order.
That's a little
Right.
bit of a combination of fine woodworking and construction.
yeah.
yeah, we've had jobs with change orders that were like design based.
Mostly they are, yeah.
So if that happens, we'll look at the change, come up with the price, submit it to the homeowner, and then they'll remit a payment to make up the new balance.
Right.
The kitchen we just did, like we added glass in places where there weren't glass. What else did we do in that?
Well,
Added
we
some
added the
shelves and stuff like
yeah,
that.
Yeah. Just changes. If it has an effect on like our process of, fabrication or whatever, and we have to spend more time, we'll have to charge
Yeah.
for it. If it doesn't, we're not going to just make up a price to, suit ourselves.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Conrad, I hope that answers your question.
Rich?
How do I cut off dowels using a pull saw without damaging the workpiece? Matthew. I can't even say
Ciao
that.
Ducati.
Yeah.
Ciao Ducati on Instagram.
Paisano.
I'll tell you what I've been doing. It works great. Is I use a router with a straight bit, and I open up the plate. So I made a custom plate for my cordless router with an open end on it. I used to use a dovetail bit in a router that the dovetail bit was broken, and then broken or stuck inside the bit. So I'd used that for literally more than a decade. But that router finally died, and now I think it's my rigid cordless router is set up with just a straight bit, an open end plate on the router, and I basically will cut the dowel or the plug, maybe a 64th heavy, and then get the rest of it with a sanding block.
Yeah.
Because
Excellent.
especially if you're in the middle of a piece of furniture. So if you're on the edge, this you can get it with the saw. You still may slip, still might cut the veneer. But if you're in the center of a cabinet, it might be hard to sort of bend that blade to get a nice flush cut. With the router, it's fast. It's never failed me.
Yeah, I've
That's
done
a
that
good
before.
tip.
Yeah.
The open-ended base plate.
It works so good.
Yeah.
Write that down.
Yeah, Matthew, write that down too.
I'd say I think I have a video on Instagram that's got, I don't know, thousands of views from something like that. And that's just one of those. The trick to Instagram is if you can make like an aha moment video that's also satisfying.
Yeah.
They sometimes like, oh wow, that's easy and it's satisfying, and they just take off, and you can get all those views.
So tell Matthew like exactly where he could find it, just in case he doesn't know.
If he goes to my YouTube channel, and within the last year, I posted a video. I think it's cutting plugs with a router,
All right.
probably.
John Peters, cutting plugs with a router. All right, what's next?
So that takes care of my idea.
Well, yeah. I mean, also they make flush cut saws where there's no set to the teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could put some blue tape around it.
Yeah, that works absolutely, and I've done that.
Yeah. I've done it and made the mistake, used the wrong saw.
Yeah.
You get
We
some
all
nice-
done it.
Yeah.
Cuts everything.
I tell you what, that's a frustrating thing because it only takes a second,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
and now you're like, and now you spend all this time trying to make that go away.
Yeah.
What kind of filler am I
Make
going to
it
use?
go away,
Maybe
yeah.
a little, epoxy and sawdust will take care of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and usually it's cross grain because you're sawing this direction.
Yeah, the router thing works really good.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
This is a good question. Do you want to read it, Jeff?
Yeah. So this is from Far Out Woodworks on Instagram. What is a sign of a good shop to work in to gain your education?
This goes back again to your origin stories.
I'll say neatness and people getting along. People getting along. If there's like an obvious aggravation in the air, it's not an environment you want to be in. You're not going to last long there. It's not a good thing. So try to find something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say talk to some of the guys and see how long they've been there too.
That's a good
Yeah,
one.
because if it is turnover, then there's something going on. And a lot of guys will talk. You go into the lunchroom or you go into the break and they'll say, that guy's such a dick.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you know that there's a problem somewhere.
Yeah.
If you go and the guy's name's Tom, just
Yeah, exactly. That's another one. Nope.
If the boss's
Tom.
name is Tom in quotation.
yeah. Yeah, I think now in the day of social media, check out any social media pages they have, see the work. If you can go actually see it in person, make sure that it's actually good.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people claim to be doing good work when they're really not.
Yeah. Yeah. A
Things-
little Photoshop here and there.
Things look a lot better on camera than they
yeah.
do in person, and not even look, feel.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing with furniture. It has to look good and it has to feel good.
Yeah.
I expect anybody when they come up to something that I've made to look at it and then touch it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and then touch it, and that's the telling moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll add to what you guys have said, and it's telling that most of the information you guys have given doesn't have anything to do with woodworking, but it has to do with the character of the people and the work environment, because you're really not going to learn anything if there's not a teacher there, if there's not the pleasant attitude, the nurturing, the giving, the sharing. Of course you want to find a shop that's doing work that you're interested in, but you won't learn anything there if they're not willing to teach you. And if you dread going to work every day, that's an awful thing. You're not going to be you're not going to be in the mood. You won't be receptive.
We talked about this before. One of the questions was from Manny.
About
was
mental
asking
health.
about mental health.
Mental health.
It's
Can't
important.
define
You
it.
can't.
I think mental health is really, I don't think a lot of people talk about it. It might be like just a kind of a taboo or whatever.
Yeah.
But for me, I need to mentally feel good. And that's not always a natural thing. Sometimes I just don't know which way is up.
Right,
What the hell's going on kind of thing. What helps me is exercise. I'll go for a walk and I'll see the world a little bit clearer place.
Yeah.
One thing that if I don't feel mentally good about where I am in a project or where I am for whatever reason that day, the way I get out of it is I do the busy work. So there's always work that needs to get done. And so maybe I don't feel confident in that moment to make that design decision or that hardware decision where you're going to cut into the project you're working on. I'll step back from it and I'll do all those things that have to get done. And then that's the thing. It's amazing the difference a day makes. And you hear these tragic stories about somebody did this or somebody did that. And if they could have just walked away for it the next day, because I mean, I'll do the busy work. I come in the next day and I'm a different person.
Yeah.
And also don't make any decisions in those moments. So
That's great advice.
you know, just like if you got to identify yourself and then just say, I'm just going to do what needs to get done. I'm not going to do anything else.
Yeah.
Like
And then-
my neighbor with the lawnmower.
There you go.
It's good.
Write a nice little note.
Yeah, we're not all perfect every day. So some days
No,
you just have
you're
to
right.
step back and
Exactly.
say, you know what? Clean the shop, sand the piece that you've been putting
Sand.
off. You know, anything like that. Then the next day you come in and you're ready to do.
Yeah, you're right, because there's always so much little stuff to do that you could easily not do. You can overlook, you could step over it. That's the best time to do something like that.
And it's incredible how you can be 180 degrees a different person the following day. It's just it blows my mind, and that's like advice I'll give to my kids. You know, don't make rash decisions.
Rash,
You know.
rash.
Don't catch a rash.
Yeah,
Don't get a rash.
and you know, and nothing is that serious.
That's
Just
right.
try to do some of the things that need to be done. And if
Yeah.
you have to, then don't do any of them. Go for a walk.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's good to have a network. Like you're working by yourself over there.
That's
So,
tough.
We've all done it. I worked by myself for almost 15 years. And you do have those days. So it's important to have a network. Like you could always reach out to us.
Oh, it's nice to
you
know.
know that
Yeah.
and say, I need a hand with this, or I just need to tell you about this, or can somebody come over to my shop and, you know, sit me down?
Off the ledge.
Just hold the end
Talk
of
me
this
off the
board.
ledge.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that's important to know
True.
that there are people there for you.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, we've all had those days here where it's like, listen, I'm going home.
Yeah.
I've screwed up this many times. Just, you know, you get into a funk some days
Take your lunch
and you just
pail and
can't
you go
work.
home.
Yeah, it's just,
Go home.
and that's the best thing that you can do.
Yeah.
Because you're not anything you get done will probably be wrong.
Yeah.
If you're
Right.
and then that's going to be that much more work.
The next day.
So it's good for you and it's good for the client too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I'd like to think that most of the decisions we make are for the
Yeah.
benefit of the client.
Sure.
Of course. Yeah.
It may seem on the surface like it's about us, like, oh, you know, you had a bad day, you want to go home. Well, no, it's because the client deserves our best work. So
Oh, yeah,
if you're not at your best, you go home.
Yeah.
I
It's
think that
work.
woodworkers hold their work to a very high standard.
Yeah.
I think they really do. And I think you have to. But I don't know if everybody in every field does do that. I mean, I guess you have that in everything though, because I have a friend who's an electrician, and I see him as an artist. The way the wires go into the box and everything is done.
Yeah,
He
my
cares
son
about,
is like that.
you know,
He's
so-
like that too. Yeah.
It can be it could be anything. It could be all your work can be done like an artist. You know, you just got to care about what it is.
Yeah, you have to care about what you're doing.
Yeah.
And we do. I mean, and we know you do as well.
Thank you.
I mean, I think that's why we hit it off.
yeah. Well, it's
I mean, we're
important
core
to.
beliefs.
That's the thing. It's the core belief, in that you're trying to make something beautiful and timeless, right? So 20 years from now, there's still whatever you're made will still be relevant, right?
Yeah.
So you're not making something for, I don't know, for whatever reason. It's you're making something that will last.
Yeah.
That will last a time.
What's funny is we've all been doing this for so long, and I think with every job, we almost feel like we feel like the client has entrusted us with this job, this piece of furniture, these cabinets that are going in their house, and we almost feel like we have to, validate their trust in us by performing to this certain level.
Absolutely. And I'm sure that all three of you and myself are judging ourselves harder than
Oh yeah, I was going to say that. We're our own worst critics.
Yeah.
I have learned not to point anything out.
Nothing gets past us that nobody else sees.
Yeah,
sure.
That's the way it goes. So, you want to end with this last one?
No, let me just I hope that answered your question. Far Out Woodworks is that take your time in the shop and don't be afraid to leave or quit because it's not up to it's not right for you.
Yeah, that's a good bit of advice.
Yeah, see if you can, go in for a day or a couple days and feel it out.
I've known guys that are really high-end cabinet makers that did videos, and they're really dicks to work for.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's the way they are.
And they're not going to share their secrets willingly.
No.
That's the thing.
I almost feel like we're in an age of no secrets.
Yeah.
Because there's so much information
Yeah.
on the internet. And
That's a good point.
You can't do anything without somebody seeing you.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to know something, it was funny because a friend of mine who's a house painter, when I started making videos 8 or 10 years ago, he said, well, there's a lot of secrets you're going to be giving out. I said, I don't think there's going to be any secrets in any, going forward, because if you have some knowledge, you can, you didn't think of this on your own.
No.
You know what I mean? If you've thought of it, somebody else has thought of it.
Right.
And if you don't put it out there, somebody else will. So you might as well just share it.
You almost
good
just
for
need to
everyone.
know the question to ask.
Yes.
If you know the question,
That's the thing.
The answer's there.
Yeah. But it's good for everyone because the better everyone else gets, then it raises the bar.
Yeah, sure does.
And then you're not just, these guys are carpenters. They're just going to slap together some,
I agree 100%. People are looking at work with a much more critical eye.
Right. Which sets you apart from, we get lumped in with the guy that's just slapping it together.
Yeah.
So if everyone gets a
getting
little
his
better.
lumber from the home store.
Yeah.
Oh, I could build that for you. Then just got to run to Lowe's first.
Yeah.
Rich, why don't you read
I
this
shouldn't
last
say that.
one?
I feel like that's being a little snobby.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
nothing wrong.
We're very guilty.
There's nothing wrong with going to the home store.
No.
But
As long as you're honest about
Right. It's
That's
all
our
about
biggest thing.
Your
representation.
expectations.
if you make your drawer boxes out of plywood or you build you buy your doors, as long as you're honest with your clients, that's fine. But just don't misrepresent what you're
that's
doing.
the thing, yeah.
Exactly. We've tried to clear that up a couple of times.
I think one thing that new woodworkers should really focus on is I don't think that's my phone.
It sounded like my computer.
Okay, good. I just didn't want to be guilty
No, that's my
of
fault.
doing the phone thing.
I'm getting YouTube comments.
So I think that I forget what I was saying. Something.
You've been guilty of something.
I don't remember.
Oh, I think
Thanks with the
woodworkers.
phone interruption.
Woodworkers. I
put
think
it on mute.
woodworkers should take the time and really search out for a lumber supplier where
Yeah.
they live, because the choices that you're going to get and the prices that you're going to spend are going to be much better than what you're going than what's available at the home store.
And the quality.
Yeah, we're a good example of that because we get our stuff shipped in from Pennsylvania, which is just the one state over, but it's not like we can just go into the store and pick up a board. We have to figure out what we need. There's a minimum board footage order. So we can't just say, give us 25 board feet of 4-quarter cherry. That won't come on the truck.
Yeah.
300 board feet.
We got to order 300 board feet, so we
Wow.
have to have our ducks in a row.
Yeah.
But it's worth it.
yeah, because you're getting the ingredients to
Yes.
make something great, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like buying your lumber at a quality lumber yard or lumber place where you buy lumber is analogous for woodworking as a baker going to a place to buy their ingredients to bake a cake. You know, you're not going to go to the Wawa to get your ingredients for
No.
for a good cake.
Yeah, you're not making a gourmet meal from Walmart.
Yeah. You might Walmart. No, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't. Walmart's not that bad.
I'm not a big fan of
I would never
Walmart.
go into it.
Walmart apologist.
Yeah. Walmart's one of the worst companies in the whole
I
country.
would.
I will agree with that. I don't
I
go to
never
a
stepped
Walmart.
foot
Is
in
there one
Walmart.
around here?
I think it's in
Neptune, I think, is
Neptune,
the closest.
yeah.
It's
Yeah, it
pretty
is.
far.
It's funny because I was approached by Walmart to do videos for their tools, and I went to it because
They have
Yeah, it's a
tools?
heart, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I first of all, I just don't. I can't imagine them being any good.
They put a lot of people out of business.
That's my problem. They put a lot of people out of business, and it's everything opposite of what we four are doing.
Yeah. How do you say, like, hey, I'm John Peters. Look, I downgraded all my tools.
Yeah, yeah.
I went
Imagine-
from this good stuff to heart.
yeah.
Was it paying a lot of money?
What?
Because Walmart, if you'd want us to, was it good money?
Sent over
in
4
it?
Walmart
Yeah,
t-shirts.
yes.
Oh, well, that
No, I went
changed
to,
my,
I couldn't use Heart Tools.
no, I agree.
You
I
sent
totally
over 3
agree.
Walmart t-shirts.
It's like going to Harbor Freight.
And I don't have a tool company sponsor. I don't think I have anybody who sponsors my tools.
Any sponsors out there?
There we go.
Step up.
I just I'll get free tools though from time to time.
Yeah.
Acme Tools will send
Yeah.
me some tools, but
Yeah.
that's not the tools. That's Acme Tools.
Right.
Yeah, just definitely try to stay with the highest quality that you can afford. Like obviously, if you can't afford anything else, and you want to get some Heart Tools, they'll probably get
Right.
the job done.
Yeah,
but if you're
better
going to
than
use them every day,
Yeah.
it's like the beauty of the tool sometimes helps the work you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Can't paint without brushes.
So
And good
Ryobi,
brushes.
That's right.
so Ryobi, we don't want to sponsor you, so don't even try. Which brings us to our last question of the day. I'm beginning to think that this pension thing is an inside joke. Any truth to that? This is from Keith again from 2-Bit Woodworkings. Keith, there's no such thing as a pension. I'm just telling you that right now. This was all a joke because the person I used to work for, this Tom character, thought that I didn't want to work for him anymore because I had to live on my wife's big fat pension. But it wasn't true. So he couldn't understand that I just didn't like him, that I just didn't want to work for him anymore. But so the story about the pension was just like, it is an inside joke between all of us, because right now I do need to work. I do need this job, and I'm hoping that but no. In all seriousness, yes, my wife has a pension. No, it's not a big fat pension, and it's nice. It helps us out in times, but I love to work. I love to work with these guys, so it is an inside joke. But with this guy Tom, it was just a funny thing with him because he couldn't accept the fact that I told him he made me cringe when I was around him. He used it as saying, "Oh, he got to live on his wife's big fat pension." So it's a joke, but it's not a joke.
Yeah, it's a stretch of the truth.
Yeah. That was a good answer.
Yeah.
Good answer.
And their responses, those are the sizes. Beer sponsors, tool sponsors, not Ryobi, but any other guys out there, I'll wear it.
I think you have something important to say.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So we're gonna announce the winner of the giveaway.
Exactly. Drum roll.
The winner is Action Jackson 508. We had 170
Yeah.
some odd entries.
great.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, Action Jackson, you're the winner. I'll be reaching out to you via Instagram.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get it in the mail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to let me know your size. We'll send you a T-shirt.
Yeah. And we're working on giveaway number 2 already.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get all the stuff we don't use anymore.
Yeah, that's new
But it's
in
good
box.
stuff.
New in box.
Yeah, with that, we haven't used that at all.
Glue bots.
No.
Now,
I do have one at
No.
home.
the cookies.
There will be no glue bot.
The Rockler cookies.
The chocolate cookies are next.
Yeah, answer in the comments. Do you use bench cookies?
Yeah, the bench cookie, yes or no?
And that has a hockey puck.
I had to make a real effort to use those, and then
We
just-
tried. We tried. Yeah, we wanted to use them. We wanted.
What do you use them for? Well,
So stuff won't slide around. So typically, if you want to maybe sand something, you
Okay.
might put it, or if you need to raise something up while you're running around.
router
on it.
maybe. Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
I wouldn't
But-
trust it.
Hang it
Yeah.
off. I hang it off the table.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
I mean, we use these anti-slip mats to sand on, so really,
Do you
we don't
use-
have much of a use.
Do you use I call them nailers for finishing two sides of something?
Yeah, in fact, there's our
You have
nails
some,
up there. We just did those stair threads.
some pin boards or nail boards.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
I have maybe like 2-inch blocks with a nail in the center of each block, or screw actually, 1 5/8 screw. One thing I was going to comment on is I really like your clamp rack because it's simple.
yeah.
It doesn't take up a lot of space.
No,
And I mean, it definitely works with the Bessie. I guess it works with the Jorgensen too.
Yeah.
But I'm probably going to rip that off for sure in the new shop space.
Yeah, that's
I'll
what
probably
I like
make a
to
video
see.
about. I came up with this idea
Yeah, exactly.
for a very
Hey.
simple. Just came to me one day.
For you, John, anything.
Yeah, that was part of not our most recent sort of overhaul, but
Yeah.
I think it was at the end of last year, the beginning of this year. We kind of like ripped apart the entire shop.
yeah.
It was a step up from the first one was just a flat board.
Well, I noticed a big difference in the shop from the first time I came here, maybe 8 or 9 months ago, to the second time. And you just put the new mats in.
Yeah.
Everything was definitely much more streamlined and organized. That what I particularly like about that is there's not a lot of space in between those clamps,
Right.
and it looks like just a simple L with some supports in it.
That's it.
And I mean, you could. I guess it's made of plywood.
Yeah, plywood or some old piece
Yeah,
of trim.
that's actually like Windsor 1 by.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was, we ripped apart the shop and that was something else, and now it's that.
So a piece of Baltic birch plywood, if you
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
to make it look a little pretty
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever, that
Yeah.
would look nice. Definitely going to do that.
Yeah, I cut those on the dado saw. Just set up a
On this dado saw, on the
No,
Yeah.
actually, old Unisaw.
the 5
old
horsepower.
Lion sides.
did you use a sled when you did that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and just like move the
Yep.
fence over whatever that distance is, 1.5 inches or something
Yep.
every time.
Yeah.
And you see, I messed up on some. We had to make some modifications. This one's a little different, and over there is a little different.
But it's nice because you got them all there and they're not taking up a ton of space. And my shop is smaller.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, I want to have all my clamps. And I'm also going to go through my clamps because I've got a lot of bar clamps that I don't use as much anymore.
Yeah, we just moved all ball clamps out too. We don't.
Those
we don't
pipe
use
ones?
Yeah, we had
Yeah,
some.
that's what I meant to say pipe clamps.
We had some big pipe clamps,
And they get
that-
bent.
Yeah. We to move the sander here, we've wedged them underneath there. And
There you go.
Now they have a big curve to them.
So, what's our thought now on the beer of the week? I
Oh,
think
yeah.
we've gotten to that
Well,
point.
Yeah,
I think it was very good.
was
I
a
liked
hit.
it.
yeah, it was
It
great.
I'm not
hit.
really an Indian Pale Ale guy. I didn't think it was going to be. I used to associate that with very bitter beer, and this one wasn't. Wasn't that
It's
bitter?
kind of in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
You a convert?
No. Give me a Schmitz, Schlitz, Rangold.
I don't think
Coors
half of
Light.
those even exist anymore.
This was all right.
Yeah, that's a good beer.
Yeah.
No, it was good.
I enjoyed it quite a bit. I mean, I was really in the mood for a nice beer too. I mean, I was getting thirsty.
Yeah, you were drinking a beer before Johnny even got here.
But I said I would have had a glass of water. We have some nice, cool water there, but I didn't have a glass.
There you go.
So I had to pop that beer open.
Sometimes there's nothing like a beer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
For sure.
What about you, Jeff? You're more of the connoisseur.
I liked it. I like the California, the West Coast style sort
Yeah.
of IPAs. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, John, you know usually the the bringer of the beer has the last word.
I'm going to say I like it. Just it's always good. It's pretty simple. I think it's priced fair. Mm-hmm. It's it's $11 for a 6-pack. Talking about a decent beer, that's what you're going to pay. And no surprises with this one. You know, sometimes you'll go for some other beers and they're just they're a little funny or something. Where with this one, if I don't know what to get, if I don't want to take a risk, I know I'm going to like it.
Ah, cool. So all good. 4 thumbs up on the Lagunitas.
Yeah.
Petaluma, near my old stomping grounds. I did live out in San Francisco for about a dozen years.
Yeah, you've been around. You got a cool background.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were an English teacher.
You don't want to
That's
know.
so cool.
If there's a job, Rob's done it.
That's right. Taught English, taught history,
Oh,
taught.
it's so cool, though. I
Yeah.
think that's great.
Yeah.
There's some wild stories
He
about
was
that.
a stripper. That's another story.
That was only a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I like that Lord of the Flies analogy, though. It's
Yeah.
Lord of the Flies was such a good book, and my kids. So I got 3 boys.
How old now?
My oldest is 23. Then I got one who's going to turn 21 in December, and I've got a 19-year-old. And we bought a house up in Vermont shortly. I think my oldest might have been in 5th grade when we did that, and we had this house for about 7 or 8, maybe 10 years. I don't know, and it really allowed them to be boys. I literally would just give them a pack of matches and say, "Go make a fire."
Yeah.
And so they would do that. They would go fishing, and in the river there was like a clay bottom in this one area, like really real clay, and they would take that clay and smear it all over themselves. And I got a picture of them, and they're like in the river, like with sticks. And I swear,
that's
it looks
Lord
like
of the Flies.
It's like right out of Lord of the Flies. And, you know,
All you need is a pig's head.
yeah, and the conch,
Yeah, that's right.
the conch.
I tried to
Oh, the
reread
gods.
that book probably about 2 years ago. I couldn't get through it.
Oh, really?
Just the writing just feels so
Yeah,
antiquated.
it's
just
from
the,
like 1950.
yeah, the
Yeah.
garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read it a while ago, but I know that they made, I think, 2 movies from
They
it.
did,
And
yeah.
one I think was maybe okay, and then I remember trying to watch one. Seems like yesterday. It was probably more than 20 years ago though. But they used an Alf reference.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, how could they just do that? And then
Like it's a classic
yeah.
piece of literature.
Yeah, and it was like they're standing around the fire or something. They mentioned like they wish they were watching Alf, and I was like, did that just happen?
It's like a standard in every school across the country. From,
That Catcher in the Rye. Catcher
Yeah.
in the Rye.
Yeah,
That was
I had
a
to read
good
those.
one. I like Catcher in the Rye.
That was another book. Yeah.
Yeah, we often reference the rabbits.
Yeah.
If you mess up, we're gonna take you to see the rabbits.
Is that from Catcher in the Rye?
No, that's from Mice and Men.
Oh, Mice and Men.
Oh yeah.
That's
I get
a good one.
I get the
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah.
Mice and Men's a good one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see the rabbits, Lenny.
Bunch of highbrows around here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So that's it for our podcast.
Yeah. Well, we got to talk
this
about
was
who's
fun.
coming next
This
week.
was a good long one.
Yeah.
It was
I
very
enjoyed it.
informative.
Yeah, I
really
haven't
enjoyed
looked, but usually we run 1 hour like
Yeah.
on the nose with no. We don't even look at the clock.
Yeah, I had even more questions for John, so we're gonna have to save those.
There you
up
go.
for the
Yeah,
next
that-
time.
Totally
back.
would love it. Yeah, it'd
Yeah.
be fun.
So next week we have our second guest. That's Will Fagan. You probably know him a little better as Wild Willie's Woodshop on Instagram.
Wet Willie.
Cool.
Yeah, or Rich calls him Wet Willie. So send your
cool.
questions in.
Yeah, this is great. I can't wait to do it again.
Good. I think it's a great addition to everything you guys
Yeah.
are doing. I think
Yeah.
it's just awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I mean, I look forward to it every week. I don't know about you
Yeah.
guys, but
If you look forward to it, and it's good.
Yeah.
You know, and you can tell it. I mean, I like I said, I've been working in the shop doing a lot of things where I can listen to something,
Yeah.
and I've listened to every episode. And it's fun. You know, I particularly like the gripe of the week, and I had to agree with the litter. Oh my god!
Yeah. That's another good one.
Talk about like maintaining your cool when somebody throws
Yeah.
something out the
Well,
window.
people that do what we do, you're going to have a sensibility of, preservation and
Sure.
ecology. that's always going to rub you the wrong way. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
I don't know how somebody can do that.
it's
Just
it is.
selfish. People are selfish.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same reason someone goes from the left lane to exit all the way to the right.
That's the swoop across.
Yeah, the Jersey scrape.
Well, that sounds like a gripe.
Yeah, well, I got a lot.
Next time we're going to give you the gripe of the
Yeah,
week.
there's not
Okay.
enough weeks in the year.
I'll do it. I'll do that.
Not enough weeks in the year for all the grapes we got.
That's true.
Yeah. Boy, if you could hear us the other 39 hours of the week.
Yeah. Well, cool.
All right. Ciao.
Yeah.
So goodbye,
be well
everybody.
out
See
there.
you guys.
Stay safe.
All right. That was fun, man.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Five